ESPN pushes back Caitlin Clark estimated return date amid injury news. In the wake of Caitlin Clark having suffered yet another injury earlier this month, ESPN has changed when they expect her to return. During ESPN's August 12th broadcast of the Indiana Fever vs. Dallas Wings, play-by-play extraordinaire Ryan Ruocco made an interesting statement about when star guard Caitlin Clark could be returning to games. That stretch where the Fever have the week off is where Stephanie White reiterated to us today she's hoping Caitlin Clark returns to practice. Stephanie talked yesterday about how Caitlin has been running more, doing more on-court work. She is hoping that Caitlin returns to practice next week, would need multiple days in practice before she then gets into a game, Ruocco said. But you see the way the schedule stacks up after that week, and wonder, could one of those games against Minnesota, or maybe the 26th at home against Seattle, be a potential return game? He concluded of Clark. That week off, Ruocco alluded to, has now concluded, as the Fever are facing the Minnesota Lynx on August 22nd. And Clark is still not back to practicing. Therefore, it's looking very unlikely she'll return by August 26th. ESPN adjusts Caitlin Clark's estimated return date. At the time Ruocco made those comments, most figured that Clark was solely recovering from the groin injury she suffered during the Fever's July 15th game against the Connecticut Sun. However, it was reported on August 20th that Clark also suffered a minor bone bruise in her ankle earlier this month, before the Fever's August 7th game. While there are conflicting reports about whether this minor ankle injury slowed Clark's recovery down, there's no doubt that it didn't help matters. One aspect of ESPN's WNBA website is that in the preview to every WNBA game, they list a comprehensive injury report that includes each player who is injured, what their injury is, and what their estimated return date is. Just 5 days ago, ESPN had Clark's estimated return date set to August 26th. Now, when one looks at the ESPN preview for tomorrow's Lynx vs. Fever game, Clark's estimated return date has been pushed back to September 2nd. The Fever face the Phoenix Mercury on the road on September 2nd, which marks the final game of a 3-game road trip along the West Coast for Indiana. Frankly, it's hard to imagine Clark would make her return at that point in a road trip, especially because Indiana plays at home against the Chicago Sky 3 days later. Regardless, fans will surely be holding out hope that this ESPN estimation is accurate.